Spitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Battling 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Battling 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the never blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Didn't even let the countdown finish. Did not even let the countdown finish. What was I thinking? Good to see you, Galaxy. Hope you're doing well. Actually, I want to just kind of peek at the sunset. I was kind of anxious to look at that. So let's take a gander at the sunrise. I meant sunrise, not sunset. Duh. Just the nice colors there. I just thought that was nice. Let me turn volume on so you can hear the waves.
Fish pond calm and glassy clear. You live all right from here. waxen head plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat-cap pastor shows the way. Stream it live, come what may.
Well, I guess you can't see the fish there. You cannot see
With
the
his
fish.
cam he shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen.
Alright, you know what? I'm gonna leave this for a minute. I need to go check on something. So,
Hear the music, gentle
we'll leave it on the fish stream for just a minute. But I will be back. Rather than do a BRB,
makes the fish feel right at
the
home.
sunrise is beautiful. So,
Watch the fish, they swim along to
you just
the
pin that so
rhythm
anybody coming in will
of
see
his
the
song.
BRB. And we'll leave it up
Pastor shows
for
the way.
5
Stream it
minutes.
live,
That'll
come
do it.
what may.
Hey, Lucis, welcome in. So, hey, I'm leaving the sunrise up here. I gotta go check on something real quick, but I'll be back in 5. So,
Refuse candy shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on the screen. See the ripples, watch the flow. Hear the music, gentle glow. Flat caps charm, calm in tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cap pastor shows the way. Stream it live, come what may.
alright, I'm back. Like I said, I just had to go check something out real quick. Took the phone with so I could keep up with everything, and away we go. Welcome. Alright, so we finished Isaiah yesterday. I just, woo! That's a slug for me. I know there's people that love Isaiah. Jesus quotes Isaiah more than any other book. So there's a part of me that goes, I should really, really love Isaiah because it seems like Jesus did. Nope. No. No. Still don't. Still don't. But we got Galatians today, and not only that, but maybe we'll start Ephesians today. Oh, I love Ephesians. Used to be my favorite book. Used to be my favorite book. I don't know that I could say that anymore. I think Leviticus and Job are top of the list. That has changed more and more. But we got Galatians and Ephesians. Got some good stuff going on in both of those. So Galatians 4:21. That'll be where we're starting. I don't know why it always defaults to Acts 1. That's kind of weird. Okay, so we got into 4 and we stopped at 21 just so that it would match with the break of where they were suggesting our reading for the Bible in a Year plan. Okay, and what we had was some things regarding who is superior. Who is superior? Are the circumcised superior? And he's making an argument that we're all heirs and arguing about the law because that's the argument of the circumcised is you got to do the law. You don't get out of the law. And he's going, Abraham didn't do the law. Abraham didn't do the law. Circumcision was a sign of Abraham, not a sign of the law. So we don't need any of that in regards to the Gentiles. Okay. So that's what we've got. And then it is we are in Christ being the key piece there. So let's pick it up from there. Tell me, you who have been under the law, do you understand the law? Ooh, is that a rhetorical question with an understood yes? Will you not hear what the law says? Oh, okay. So those who are under the law, will you not hear what the law says? Instead of do you understand the law? I get it. Hear and to listen, but the figuratively means to obey. But they went with understand. Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you did. For it is written that Abraham had 2 sons, by the one by the slave woman and the other by the free woman. He's using the slave and free. He did that earlier. He's using the issue that issue here. Yeah, starting at 4:21 exactly. For it is written, Abraham had 2 sons, one by the slave woman and the other by the free woman. But one, the son by the slave woman, was not born by natural descent, while the other, the son by the free woman, was born through the promise. Was born by natural descent. Born according to the flesh, sarx. Okay. And, wait, yeah. There is nothing on the free woman through the promise. Okay. So making a difference between the promise rather than biology. So yeah, if you want to make an argument that you are heirs and sons of Abraham, why do we exclude those born of Ishmael? They are not considered in the covenant. Why? Because they weren't sons of the promise. They're not descendants of the promise to Abraham. These things may be treated as an allegory. For the women represent 2 covenants. One is from Mount Sinai, bearing children from slavery. This is Hagar. Now Hagar represents Mount Sinai in Arabia and corresponds to the present Jerusalem, for she is in slavery with her children. But the Jerusalem above is free, and she is our mother. So we know the 2 main characters, the main wives of Abraham and their offspring. There's actually another group that Paul doesn't bring in, if you remember, after Sarah is dead. But he's like, you want to go with that? let's just use these as the allegory, the illustration, if you will, of the free and the slave. So let's bear that out. So those who are of Hagar, oh, that's like Sinai. That's like the law. That's coming out of slavery. She was slave, so that works. And then Sarah is of the promise. So let's bear that out. Rejoice, O barren woman who does not bear children. Break forth and shout, you who have no birth pains, because the children of the desolate woman are more numerous than those of the woman who has a husband. Oh my goodness, did we just not read this? We just read this. We just read this. We just read this in Isaiah. And in Isaiah, we were looking at it as it being a reference to coming back from being in exile, and the bounty of the blessing of those who will be descendants by following you will be greater than the descendants of just having biological children. And I used the example of my second grade teacher who had no children, but impacted lots of children. But you, brothers and sisters, are children of the promise like Isaac. But just as at that time, the one born by natural descent persecuted the one born according to the Spirit, so it is now. So those who are over there persecuting you are slaves to the law, just like they were slaves. The ancestors were slaves. They're under the law. They are slaves to the law, and they persecute those who have freedom. That's the same today. Just like Hagar, son, did that to Isaac. But what does Scripture say? Throw out the slave woman and her son, for the son of the slave woman will not share the inheritance with the son. And that's Genesis 21. Therefore, brothers and sisters, we are not children of the slave woman, but of the free woman. So again, this whole argument is just really about how do we treat everybody? Is everyone in good standing? Or do we have to follow the law? Now, again, Paul's arguments here are towards the Gentiles having to follow the law. I don't think this is making a case whether or not those who were born Jewish need to or don't need to. By implications, you could argue that, well, they don't either. You could, by implication, make that argument. Some people go to Acts with the sheet going up and down, and I know I've heard this as a kid too. By this he declared all foods clean. Hey, Laura, good morning. But I'm not sure that's exactly what it is. But he's saying what I have called, not called unclean, you don't get to label unclean. I'm doing well, Laura. How about yourself? Just trying to figure out what I got to do today and go from there. All right. For freedom, Christ has set us free. Stand firm, then, and do not be subject again to the yoke of slavery. Okay, what do we have here with yoke? Yoke figuratively represents the burdensome nature of slavery. You're good, thank you. Also, thank you for the shout out. Yeah. I think I did see that you were streaming, or maybe it was a social media post I saw in the last day or so. So yoke also is what Jesus talks about and the rabbis talk about, following their yoke. So Jesus' yoke was your interpretation of the law. Jesus' yoke was light. It was not burdensome. It was easy, as opposed to the Pharisees' yoke, who was heavy. But this is then a reference to that idea. The yoke is the burdensome nature of the law, which is accustomed to slavery. Listen, I, Paul, tell you that if you let yourselves be circumcised, Christ will be of no benefit to you at all. And I testify again to every man who lets himself be circumcised that he is obligated to obey the whole law. Okay, so those who think, and here's an argument here. Let me just go see what the word is there. Yeah, carry on. Oh, you have a bad headache yesterday and didn't stream yesterday, but did 2 days ago. I did a post on new Discord I found. You probably saw my post. Yeah, that might be it. Or yeah, it was a Discord. You're probably right. It's probably a Discord. I'm in multiple Discords all over the place. So you want to know about a Discord with the Save Streamers? Yeah, that's where it was. You want to know about some groups of Christian streamers? Join my Discord. I've got a channel where I post groups of Christian streamers. I don't do a lot of single streamer Discords, but the groups I do. You just read Galatians this morning? The real Napster. Hey, welcome in. Where did I just see you? Was that, whose stream was the real, what did I see you in? Was that TCD? You just Googled Christian site. Yeah, they do have not everyone has a web page. So those that do have web pages are probably going to show up better in the Google searches. But like I said, I do have a whole channel that lists groups of Christian streamers. I'm not active in all of them, but I do have a channel that it has digital churches in there, and I have one that is groups of Christian streamers. You're also welcome to post in there individual Christian streamers that you think people should check out. But anyway, glad to see you again, Laura. And I'm glad your headache is better today. So, Paul is making an argument here. If you go through with circumcision, you're obligating yourself to obeying the whole law. Does that apply today when your parents have you circumcised for medical reasons? Because that is primarily the argument that happens today around circumcision is for medical reasons. At least in the Western world, not the rest of the world, but the Western world, that's often the case. So no, you're not doing it to be marked as a part of the covenant. You're just doing it out of, and I say medical reasons because it happens usually in a day or two after birth before you go home. There's no ceremonial process to it. But anyway. Yeah, it is. That's why I kind of curate that so other people can find other Christian streamers. So if you're looking for more, I know more. If you're looking for a church, I can point you in a direction of a church that's online. So this also though. So when he has Timothy circumcised, there are people that argue that Paul's is wishy-washy. No. Paul does not have Timothy circumcised because he's trying to obey the law. Paul has Timothy circumcised because his one of his parents was Jewish and the other was not, and his father was not. So therefore, he would not have been permitted or allowed by the Jews to be circumcised. So he's actually pressing the issue against their culture, against their standards, by having him circumcised. So there's a whole different reason why I think Timothy is circumcised, that Paul is getting him permission and access to areas he would not otherwise have. There we go. He would not otherwise have access to be able to go in and be permitted in certain regions. He's getting him full access from that standpoint. So Paul is achieving something else with young Timothy. Today it's more hygienic. Well, yeah, it's more hygienic is the reasons why most people do today. Yes, and good morning, Omega. Pop, Taterhead! and good morning, Flat Cap and chat. May everyone have a blessed day and weekend. Thank you, my friend. And thank you for the tip of the cap. Oh, yeah, you have to be careful. Some people aren't honestly, unfortunately, with tags, but it happens. It happened only once. Yeah, and so, well, that's why I also have groups of Christians that are in there, so they're a collective. I don't set the rules for who they are, but they do. So, like, I'm in DC4C. That's one of the groups. There's Hopeful Disasters. That's another group. ReachCon. That's over there. That's another group. Blessing Boat. That's another group. Not quite the same way. True Play. Unity Gaming. I got a whole bunch of lists of them. So. Well, yes, and it depends on your opinions on that. I'm not. Let me put it this way. There are passages that say no, let no unwholesome words come out of your mouth. Okay. I think profanity at times is unwholesome. If I'm in a community where it's happening, it doesn't bother me. I usually don't participate in it. But if what I wanted to do was to reach out to people who are in a negative space and that's the language they're using, I might use it so that I relate to them. I'm not going to adopt it as my lifestyle, but I also could be coming from that and having had that in my past. And having had that in my past and then coming to Jesus, I might relate to them by still having that and working towards cleaning it up. So I don't try to judge people I mean, we put it this way, on the words that come out of their mouth, but the actions on how they treat people. So, yeah, you don't swear. Yeah, I know I don't as a general rule either. It's not to say that I don't here and there, but it's not usually an unintentional thing that I do without thinking about it. I will do it intentionally for a specific reason or purpose. Like a friend of mine, when we go biking, because he's always better than me and wants to do hills and other stuff, I often swear at him out of jest, just to let him know, like, dude, you're killing me. What are you doing to me? So, but that's different. Yeah, you prefer not hearing it? I understand that. So, I don't think Twitch has a profanity tag. That would be an interesting thing. But yeah, definitely, I think Safe Streamers is in the process of redoing their stuff. So there is a safe for this love. They're going to label it, I believe, safe for any age. Like I would just say PG-13, and you need to be older to watch. And that's more content driven than language. If they're FF when possible, I don't know FF. Sorry. Sometimes I'm too old and my acronyms don't compute. My brain is Final Fantasy, so I'm thinking that's not it. Hey, Wade, welcome in. I have it so it blocks certain words with dots in your Twitch. Oh, family friendly. Yeah, sorry. That makes a whole lot more sense. See, my old brain didn't even think of family friendly as FF. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Family friendly. Yes. Well, that's where when I played Baldur's Gate 3, I turn off the sexual content. I turn it off so it doesn't show any of that stuff. But occasionally I'm like, the language in the game or the innuendo in the game was not something I wanted to stream. Yeah, for Twitch, it's just that they must label their content for a certain audience. Yeah. And different people at different times have different classifications of what profanity is or not profanity. All right. Anyway, let's get back to the text. We haven't made it very far. We're in Galatians 5 if you're just coming in. You really enjoy Galatians 5? Such great truths. Yeah. Okay, verse 4. You who are trying to be declared righteous by the law have been alienated from Christ. You have fallen away from grace. So grace is under Christ. You're going by the law. You have fallen away from grace because you're going towards actions that are the basis of your standing, not grace as the basis of your standing, and thus doing actions. For through the Spirit, by faith, we wait expectantly for the hope of righteousness. For in Christ Jesus, neither circumcision nor uncircumcision carries any weight. The only thing that matters is faith working through love. Well, I like the way they put that. Faith working through love. Okay? So if you want to go to James, a lot of people like James and don't think that Paul has this. No. Faith working through love, that is deeds. Faith doesn't work without deeds. Deeds come through your actions, but it comes from grace. It comes from your faith being lived out through love. You love the book of Esther, by the way. Esther was so brave. Totes. Esther could be a model for how to do an approach to streaming. Or being a mod, or just being in communities in Twitch. You are in a space that might be hostile to God. Esther, the book of Esther, never mentions the word God at all. But clearly, Esther and Mordecai are serving and following God. And they live out by their actions. Even an evil king, there's a plot. He protects him. Mordecai gives word of it. Mordecai demonstrates humility. Esther demonstrates humility throughout the book, which is contrary to Haman, who is egotistical, self-centered, and manipulative. Oh, and vindictive. Guess should I mention that? And I'll just be neutral on the king for the most part. But how do you read the book and not see God's hand at work? I mean, but it's never mentioned. It's never mentioned. Yes, we can tell they are children of God, even though his name is exactly. That was my point I was getting at. A streamer doesn't have to use the tag Christian. Jate Live is a good example of that. He doesn't use the tag Christian because he wants to reach non-Christians. So he wants his stream to at least be 50% non-Christian. If he puts Christian in the tag, he doesn't get as many non-Christians. I put pastor on my name, so I went ahead and put Christian in there because I'm on the other side. I don't want to bait and switch anybody. And I did that before I knew I was going to be reading in the Bible in a year, before that was a plan. So I don't want to bait and switch anyone, and somebody come in and I'm doing something, and they go, "What do you do for a living besides all your streaming stuff?" And I go, "Hey, I'm a pastor." And they go, "Whoa. Well, you're trying to pull the wolves over my eye." And I'm not saying every pastor has to make that choice. That's how I felt. So that's why I have that in my name. By the way, just looking at the chat there, it's reminding me that we do have Pass the Cap going on right now for Mountain's friend, his grandfather's funeral expenses. If you are and you would like to contribute to that, Mountain's friend is trying to raise expenses for his grandfather's funeral to help cover the cost of that. You can support that. I might be fundraising for another streamer who was affected by the hurricane. I'm waiting to see. There's a bunch of other people doing it already, so I may not choose to do that. Laura, I didn't used to have the Christian tag when you first started. That was before custom tags, so different. Oh yeah, I started before custom tags too. Not long before then, but I did have pastor in my name. So, and then I'm just saying, every person's decision on using the tag or not using the tag leads to how they're trying to do things and who they're trying to reach. Much like this whole deal here with being circumcised or uncircumcised. I'm not telling other people how they should do things. They're in Christ, they have freedom. They declare Christ, I want to see the works that you have. Do you demonstrate works of love towards one another? That's awesome. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to know. Okay. You were running well. Who perverted you from obeying the truth? I think this is different. Nope, that's not the one. I thought it was bewitched you. I thought there was a phrase that was that someone had bewitched you. Maybe that was earlier. Maybe we already covered that in the beginning. So, perverted you from obeying the truth. Obeying the truth is following Christ and then living out of love. It flows out of love that we do things. This persuasion does not come from the one who calls you. A little yeast makes the whole batch of dough rise. I am confident in the Lord that you will accept no other view. But the one who is confusing you will pay the penalty, whoever he may be. Now, brothers and sisters, if I am still preaching circumcision, why am I still being persecuted? Okay, what do we have here? That is, if Paul still teaches observation of Mosaic law, why is he still being persecuted by his opponents who insist the Gentile converts to Christianity must observe the Mosaic law? Okay. Laura, I actually became more active on Twitch when the pandemic came, even though my account is older than that. Yeah, I wasn't on Twitch before COVID. But I knew of Twitch. My kids were on Twitch, and I went, why would you want to watch someone play a video game? I never understood that. I also never understood MMOs. Like, I don't want a massive multiplayer online. I want to beat the game. I don't care about beating other people unless you're sitting right next to me and I know you, and then I can rub it in your face. But I get you do that online, and I'm not skilled, so I'm not going online with people much more skilled. But I got online during COVID as I was sitting home, unemployed, sitting on the couch, and I knew a pastor friend that streamed. So that's how I got sucked into the world. You don't even remember how you found it in the first place? Yeah. It's interesting. Like, some people have been around for a long time. Yeah, Omega. That's it. I was sitting at home, unemployed, feeling sorry for myself, watching my friend, Pastor Brock VR, if you know him. If you've been around long enough to know him. Watching him because he'd been talking to me about it for at least 2 years, that he was doing VR stuff before COVID. And then during COVID, he was doing it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go check him out. You did invite Steven to Twitch when you met him? Yeah, same. Omega says. I just know I got into Twitch during the pandemic. It was a great way to interact with the outside world. That's how Steven came to Twitch and Discord. Cool. I would love to see more churches get into it. I was actually trying to think about making some VODs in the direction that streamers could share. Because I think on some level, being a pastor who's been in churches, I have a voice that churches might listen to, as opposed to the voice of someone who does not have a seminary degree and is just a gamer. Because the church might go, yeah, that's sus. You're just trying to justify yourself playing games. You need to grow up, which has been the attitude of the church for quite a while. Oh, yeah. Sister Abigail. Prayers with Abigail. Is she still around? I was just thinking about her the other day. And I went, I wonder if she's still around. Do you know, is Prayers with Abigail still around? Or is there a different Abigail? Is it now Sister Abigail Dovely? I didn't watch her very often, so I know of her. I doubt she knows me. But the voice setting that she had on her voice, because I'm assuming she had a voice setting, I just could not listen for very long to the voice setting that she had. And maybe it was her own voice, and I apologize if that's the case. I know you can't control it if it is, but some people just have a voice that irritates you. It's just the way it is. I don't know if there's any. I mean, most people I know, you hear a voice, you go, "Oh, that their voice is irritating. I can't listen." I know lots of people like that in politics. So you only know that she had more ministry work, so she's on hiatus. Okay. All right, let's get back to it. So, why am I being persecuted? In the case the offense of the cross has been removed, I wish those agitators would go so far as to castrate themselves. You want to circumcise? Make yourself a eunuch. Be my guest. She used to do a Bible study? Yeah. Yep, I remember that. But yeah, girl with the green dress and gold cross. Oh, I don't remember the color of the dress, but yeah, it was Avatar that she had. All right. Make eunuchs of themselves. Cut themselves off. The statement is rhetorical, hyperbole on Paul's part. Duh. Yeah, they tried to separate or soften it by saying separate themselves. No. Paul says they should cut themselves off. They want to follow the law. They should just cut it out. Why stop there? Go all the way. That's what he's saying. This is like, don't soften Paul. Like, really, don't. He is abrasive at times for the sake of being abrasive. This is one of those times where, like, taking the argument to the logical conclusion. For you were called to freedom, brothers and sisters. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity to indulge your flesh, but through love serve one another. Serve one another in a humble manner. Okay. So you're called to freedom. That freedom gives you the opportunity to serve one another, not the opportunity to do whatever your flesh desires. It's not a license to sin. Okay? Freedom isn't a license to sin. Freedom is set free to then love. Temple Snail, hey, Galatians was a region that actually practiced the castration of the... I did not know that, Temple Snail. Oh my goodness, that's interesting. Wow. Was it what cult was it? Like, what was it? One particular god? I mean, I can't think of all the Roman gods. I want to go Dionysus, but I don't know. Do you know who it was? Omega. But yeah, she had a kiddish voice and was a little goofy, but she did a nice job with the Bible studies and reaching. Oh yeah, I totally applaud what she was doing. The kiddish voice is a good way to describe it. Romans used to make fun of them for that. Oh, so this is not even a Roman. It was maybe those that they would have labeled as barbarians that did that then, Temple. I didn't know that they would. So he's saying if you're going to do that, then just go ahead and be like the pagans around you who go even further. Ooh. Assassinator Steph's stream on Susie's channel, 10 a.m. Eastern. Good morning, everyone. Wait. Conroy, say more. Assassinator is going to be hosted by Susie. Is that what's going on? I definitely, we need to raid that. Or is it just support of Assassinator Steph? Because I know several streamers are doing support streams to help Assassinator Steph. So Assassinator Steph, her house was hit hard by the hurricane there's damage to her house. She has no power. The roads were out. She had to hike out on foot with her kids. That's and she's staying in a shelter. That's the extent of what I understand. No particular god. Okay, Galatians had their history in Gaul and migrated. Their religion was more crazy and ecstatic. The Romans were very solemn in their religious practices. Okay. Thanks, Temple. I did not know that. So then, how do you? Because I think you would know the argument. So then, do you look at the Book of Galatians as being a South Galatia or a North Galatia theory? Because I've always, well, I should say, as I've looked at it, to me, the evidence seemed to be stronger for South Galatia because there's no record of Paul in the book of Acts having gone to North Galatia. And as he's going through Turkey, he seems to be prevented from going to the north. Cockroach. Off topic, but has anyone found a way to host Bible trivia on stream? I'm putting something together manually, but wondering if there's something out there I missed. There is, Cockroach, a YouTube channel that has Bible trivia, and so I've played clips from it before, and you let it play, and then I let people, guess their answers in the chat. So I've done it that way. So do the day. Bit of a different schedule for me today, so I'm coming in late. Your wife is out of town, so you had to drop the girls off at school. Oh, hope they're doing well. Let me look real quick and see if I can find it. Because I subbed to it. I'm going to have to stretch the... Oh. There we go. I don't remember the name. Oh, I forgot about New Reality Fellowship. Yeah, I didn't write it. Someone else. There's a whole channel of Bible trivia. Just don't remember the name of it. Southern Galatia is the more likely answer, I think. No one lived in North Galatia. Okay. I was just basing it on the fact that there is no evidence of Paul going to the north at all. So, there we go. Okay. I was just going to say, if you had arguments for the north, I would be open to exploring those. Am I following Unbox the Bible? It looks like I'm following Unbox the Bible. That might be it.
Trump or Harris?
Harris.
Oh, no worries. Other people might be interested. Okay, just to give you a flavor of it.
Knowledge with all sorts of Bible trivia questions. There will be 3 rounds. Round 1
we'll be having easy questions, round 2, questions with a medium difficulty, and round 3 will be more challenging. Are you ready? Let's go. Here are 10 easy questions. Question 1. According to Genesis, how many days did it take for God to create the world? Was it 4?
Okay, so there you go. You can see how that works. Oh, hey, I'm watching. See, if you were in here, you could have just told us what this was. So I just got asked about it. See, well, I'll let this one play.
5,
So
6.
you can answer in the chat.
The answer was 6.
So there you go. All right. So if you're looking for Bible trivia, that's one way you could do it, and then just have them answer in the chat. You could also do it with doing a poll. You could just go get your suggested info off of there, copy it into a slide, and do it yourself instead of the video. So there we go. Then it looks like if you do a search, there's more. So people have those or created those. All right. So moving on. For you are called to freedom, brothers and sisters. Only do not. Oh, that we already did. Do not use your freedom as an opportunity to indulge in the flesh, but through love serve one another. For the whole law can be summed up in a single command, namely, you must love your neighbor as yourself. Mic drop. Mic drop. You're creating a PowerPoint at the moment, Roach? That's awesome. Yeah, so you could go there and get some suggested questions that you might not know or might not be able to think of. Rabbits on the trivia one. Good call on that, Lucis. However, if if you continually bite and devour one another, beware that you are not consumed by one another. But I say, live by the Spirit, and you will not carry out the desires of the flesh. Okay, so Paul's argument is all we are to do, and I agree with this. All we need to do is love our neighbor as ourselves. That's the command. If we're living out loving our neighbor as ourselves, that is indeed living out loving God. That is indeed living out loving God. But if we are not loving our neighbor as ourselves, we are not living out loving God. And then, wait a minute, you're biting and devouring one another? How is that loving your neighbor as yourself? And oh, by the way, if you do that, you're going to get bit. You're going to get bit. So, live by the Spirit out of love. If you're living out of the Spirit out of love and you're loving your neighbor as yourself, you are not indulging the flesh. You will not give in to the desires of the flesh. Wonder what the word is here for desire. We need to go look that up. 5:16. Walk in the Spirit, and you will not fulfill the lust, is how it's translated. Subdue. The only section that I wrestle is the part of Scripture that loving your neighbor as yourself. Is that it's very evident most don't love ourselves the way God intended us to. Yeah, interesting thought on that. Yeah. Okay. Epithumia.
Strong's G, 1939. Epithumia. Epithumia.
Desire, craving, longing, desire for what is forbidden, lust. Okay. What I wonder is if it was where this is used in the Septuagint. That's really what our brain wants to know. Is this the word in the Septuagint for Sin is crouching at the door, and its desire is for you. That's what my brain wanted to connect this word to. Thought I had seen the where I could look up in the Septuagint. I thought I had seen it. But I could be wrong. I'm watching. I struggle with self-esteem issues from early childhood. Learn to love myself the way God wants me to. Will take the rest of my life. Thank you, God, for your patience with me. Yeah. That makes sense. Oh, here we go. OT results of the Greek Concordance. That's what I want. Okay, so no. The answer is no. The short answer is no. This is not in the Septuagint. Okay. That's not the word for sin crouching at the door. That's where my brain wanted to go, and it's not. But it's the desires, the things that you ought not to do that are forbidden to do. So those would be things contrary to loving your neighbor. The flesh has desires that are opposed to the spirit, and the spirit has desires that are opposed to the flesh. For these are in opposition to each other, so that you cannot do what you want. But if, if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are obvious. Sexual immorality, impurity, depravity, adultery, sorcery, hostilities, strife, jealousy, outburst of anger, selfish rivalries, dissensions, factions, envy, murder, drunkenness, carousing, and similar things. Okay, how many do we have there? How many do we have? Immorality, impurity, depravity, idolatry, sorcery, hostility, strife, jealousy, anger, rivalries, dissension, factions, envy, murder, drunkenness, carousing, similar things. That's weird. 17. 17. I don't know why we have 17, but I just wanted to check. I don't know any significance. He's trying to be, like, I'm going to list a whole bunch of things so I don't exclude anything. You go, you didn't put it on the list. And then he goes, and similar things. I am warning you, as I have warned you before, those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. Okay. A lot of these things are the exploitation and or mistreatment of other people, depending on how you look at all of these things. They are not acts of love. They are not acts of love. Let's see what sorcery says. Witchcraft. Okay. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things, there is no law. A law against peace. Wouldn't that be interesting? I'm going to come back to what those are in a minute. Now those who belong to Christ have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. If we live by the Spirit, let us also behave in accordance with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking one another, being jealous of one another. So the three things that we have to watch out for is being conceited, provoking others, or being jealous of others. So it's either I'm thinking higher of myself, I am poking at you because you're not, or I'm jealous at you because of what you are. But let's go back to here. The fruit of the Spirit produces, I like is better than produces. Another way to punctuate this is love followed by a colon, love, and then love is lived out. And thus there are 8 characteristics of love. Love has joy, love has peace. I do not like that idea. To me, it diminishes love by saying love is only shown in these ways. I could be wrong in that. The other thing that people have taken these to do is, well, like if you want to go with first fruits idea, okay? So first fruits are those that come out earliest in the season. So love is the first fruit that comes of the Spirit, and once you've learned love, you later will produce joy. And once you've produced joy, you'll get to peace. And so they think these as a hierarchy of progression because self-control seems to be the hardest. Gentleness seems to be a very difficult thing. Well, why are kindness and goodness have to wait? Those don't seem like they would be as difficult or take as long. Patience, maybe. Joy, yeah, not so much. But I don't think these are a hierarchy. Also, let's go look. Fruit singular. The fruit. One fruit. That's it. Here are the ways I describe that singular fruit. Let me just make sure it is singular. So, 522. But the fruit, okay, here we go. It is fruit, noun, nominative, singular, masculine. It is a singular verb. Fruit, fruit alone. I know ads coming. We're going to go to the ad break here before we get to chapter 6. But it's fruit singular. So it might manifest itself in different ways, but it's one fruit. That looks like all these things. That's how you know you have the fruit of the Spirit. All right, let's go to the fish. Oh, I still have it set at I still have it set at sunrise. It was a nice orange glow earlier, so that's why I had it up. All right, so let's go to fish. Ooh, guppies are right up. Oh, guppies haven't been fed. I better feed the guppies.
Plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along.
I need to. Oh, and what are you freezing on me for, guppies? Come on, don't do that to me.
Shows the way. Stream it live, come what may.
Good question. I'll come back to that in a second. Cam Pro, sorry about that. Sometimes when it's smaller, it stays on better, so I'll feed the koi too.
See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flat caps charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cap pasture shows the way. Stream it live, come what may.
I don't know if you can see why was just in there, and they don't seemingly like why was. He's bigger than them, and they're a little bit surprised or shocked by him, so they're not inclined to go and say hi to Wywis.
Refuse Cammy shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in pond so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen.
Guess what? I don't know.
See the ripples, watch the flow.
Your internet is back! Oh, yay! Awesome. Awesome. That's fantastic. Temple, great question on the negative things, if they're a hierarchy. I wanted to touch on the fruit being, are they hierarchical? Because some people, and this has been one way of thinking about it, the fruit of the Spirit is love. And then it could be, here's what love looks like. I do think that there is a grammatical thing that people have made that argument. I don't know well enough to know grammatically if it lends itself to that or not, because these commas and those things wouldn't be there. So it would be looking at the cases of all of these words. That's beyond my skill to be able to do that. You can finally do a subathon. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Okay, so let's go back here. So is there a hierarchy? He says, and similar things. And similar things. So to me, putting the and similar things would negate the idea of a hierarchy. If there is a hierarchy, is it starting out with the least and building to a climax at the most heinous one? Is it doing a chiasm of pointing to the center as the most egregious one? So let me see. We had immorality, impurity, depravity, idolatry. We had 17. So then that would point to the one in the middle, which would be number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Outburst of anger would be in the center. Outburst of anger. Let me just double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, outburst of anger would be the one in the center. Because and similar things is at the end, I don't think you lead to the last one as the worst. So you're either starting with the worst, which would put murder way at the end there. Like most of us would put murder as a higher level of things. So with the fact he's using a weird number like 17 items on a list, it does not seem to me that he's doing any kind of hierarchy thing. Or there's any progression of things. So unless you can see something in the grammar that he's doing there, Temple Snail, I don't see any reason to make arguments for hierarchy in either of these cases, which some people will do here. Hierarchy saying love leads to all of these things, and self-control being the hardest one, and it's at the end. I don't see it that way. Okay, moving on to chapter 6. Brothers and sisters, if if a person is discovered in some sin, you who are spiritual, restore such a person in a spirit of gentleness. Okay, what word do we have there? Oh, gentle spirit, or gently. Pay close attention to yourself so that you are not tempted too. Carry one another's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Okay, so I need to be careful I'm not tempted too. To do what? To do any of these things here. So if someone is carousing, I go to them and I correct them. If someone is murdering, I go and correct them. If someone is envying, I need to also be careful I don't fall into envying as well. But I carry one another's burdens in this way. How do I carry the burden of someone who has, well, I'll just pick on one that maybe I could do. Who has jealousy? How do I carry the burden with them? I help them to see what they have. Envying, I help them to see what they have. Hostilities, I help keep them from the people. I help them have better remedies for self-control. I give them little corrective hints. Murder, I don't know how to bear the burden with the person who is falling into that temptation. I don't know how to do that one. But carry one another's burdens. That is how we love people who are there, not condemn people who are there. See, it says restore such a person, not condemn such a person. For if, if anyone thinks he is something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. Let each one examine his own work. There we go. Again, I'm not to examine others. I'm going to call you to examine yourself. So, I love to ask people who are thinking of doing something, is that wise? I use that language. I don't use the, is that sinful? Asking the question, is that sinful? And yeah, I'm doing it that way intentionally because that's how they hear it. Even if it says, well, that sounds like that might be sin to me. It doesn't matter how I say it. It feels like I'm judging them. And if I want them to examine themselves, if I ask the question, would that be a wise decision to make? What would be the outcome of that for you? And then I could ask a follow-up. Is that demonstrating love or is that selfishness? I can do a whole bunch of other questions to lead them to deciding it's not a good thing to do, rather than just accuse them of sin and say you ought not do it. Because me arguing with you isn't going to change your mind. Me persuading you to examine yourself might get you to examine yourself and change your mind. Subdue. Murder would be urging them to report themselves or take themselves in, and if they did not, then turning them over to the police yourself wouldn't it? Interesting question. I don't know. I still would say circumstances might depend on me choosing to report or not choosing to report. There's a difference of covering up. But if someone is confiding in me and wanting to deal with the stuff that's going on and it's past, I don't know that I would report them. The convincing them to do it is different, I think, of them taking responsibility for it. But I don't know of my obligation. It might be because I'm not in that circumstance, right? And or how it took place and or when it took place could vary a whole lot of different ways. But yeah, that's an interesting thought, is helping them to get restoration in the midst of what they've done. I like that thought. Okay, so examining your own work. That's what we're to do. We're to urge one another to examine our work, our activities, the things that we do, which, by the way, we were having a great discussion, isn't this? We were having the discussion earlier around Christians who are on Twitch, who put the tag Christian on and then use profanity. If I just show up in a streamer's stream without relationship to them and I say, you ought not swear, is there any way for that to come across other than judgmental? Is there any way to come off other than judgmental? Also, if I'm putting it in the chat, it's certainly going to sound accusatory to half of the people in the chat. If instead I hang out for a while, now, if you're opposed to profanity, you're probably not going to do that. But if I hang out for a while and I get to know the person and then I say to them, why do you swear so often? It seems like you really love God, but when you say certain things, it really doesn't sound like you love other people. You know, I can ask a question. I earn the right to ask people to examine themselves. I could also direct message them after being there less time and say something to them in regards to, I came in because you had the Christian tag. Have you ever thought about why you have the Christian tag and the way that you talk and how those two things might not be beneficial to people? And just ask questions. Don't accuse people. So this is just another aside. If I'm talking with someone of a different faith, I am not there to condemn their faith. I want them to examine their faith. I want them to examine the problems in their faith. So, for instance, there are groups of Christians who believe, because Revelation says there were 144,000, that there will only be 144,000 people in eternity. And so my question to them is, so then why are you recruiting new people if only 144,000 will be saved? You already have a million, or you have hundreds of thousands of more people who are in your group than will be saved. What if I get in and that bumps you out? What if you were at the bottom of the list and I just came in right above you? You were 144,000. I come in at 144,000, bump you down to 144,001, and you just got bumped out. Why would you want to recruit new people? Why would you want to convince new people that what you believe is correct? If there's a limited number of people that get in, I would keep my mouth shut. I wouldn't tell anybody. I'd keep this a secret. So, anyway, yes, everything must come with love. Yeah, that's what Paul's point is through this whole thing. The demanding people take actions, the living under the law is contrary to love, is what he was arguing earlier. Yo, T-Rex, welcome in. Then he can take pride in himself and not compare himself with someone else, for each one will carry his own load. So we are to, out of love, bear one another's burdens, and in ourselves, we come to self-examination. Now, the one who receives instructions... Oh, T-Rex. Despite the universe's best attempts to kill me in the last week, I'm still on. Oh, T-Rex, that's a way to drop your life is crazy in the chat. Yeah, like, what? Well, thank goodness you're okay. Praise God. Now, the one who receives instruction in the word must share all good things with the one who teaches it. Do not be deceived. God will not be made a fool, for a person will reap what he sows. Because the person who sows to his own flesh will reap corruption from the flesh. But the one who sows in the Spirit will reap eternal life from the Spirit. So we must not grow weary in doing good, for in due time we will reap if we do not give up. So then whether we have an opportunity, whenever we have an opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially those who belong to the family of faith. All people. All right. I was in a path of... Oh, you were in the hurricane. For work, and a chemical plant by the office lit up. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for the cookies. Wow, T-Rex. I know other people in the path of the hurricane as well. So thank you. Thank God you are okay. Hope the rest of your fellow workers are okay. Do you know anyone who has lost people? I know the news is reporting some, and I'm seeing in other places that people are saying the news isn't reporting. I even saw a story today where they were using mules to be able to get supplies in and out. T-Rex, the funny part is your boss sent me out of town to avoid the hurricane, and then it came right for you. Oh, okay. So we're still on the loving all people. Let us do good to all people. All people are our neighbor. Oh, the Cajun Navy? Yeah, trying to keep up with some of that. I don't think this was Cajun Navy because they were on donkeys. But maybe that's a part of it. I don't know. I thought they were the ones with the swamp boats, but maybe I'm wrong. See what big letters I make as I write to you with my own hand. Okay, this is an interesting thing. So Paul talks about this in a couple of places. Yeah, it's an actual relief work, yes. But I thought they had the swamp boats. Yeah, I knew it was an actual relief. I didn't think they had donkeys, but I could be wrong. So Paul says, what big letters I make. So think about it this way. When you are in kindergarten and you're learning to write, look how big you write. And then as you practice writing, by the time you get to middle school, you can write smaller. And you're able, third time in the last year. Wow. You can write much smaller. So Paul apparently in this section is writing in his own hand. And he's saying, you can see it's my own hand because look how big the letters are. I've got to make, kindergarten letters here as I write out the words here My scribe has been doing the small ones. I'm getting to this section. I wrote it with my own hand to make sure you knew that this was exactly what I wanted you to know. Those who want to make a good showing in external matters are trying to force you to be circumcised. Okay, what's it say, external matters? Oh, in the flesh. But I like they want to look good. Oh, isn't that the truth? How many people don't feel like they need to get cleaned up to come to church? Why? Because church makes them feel like if they ain't cleaned up, they ain't welcome. Let us know where you'll be for the next one. We'll go the opposite way. So if you're doing it all for show, which is one of the accusations Jesus makes against the Pharisees, that they're doing all of their deeds to be seen, and that in itself is their reward. Here, the whole thing of you got to be circumcised is coming from that motivation of, I corrected you. Look at how righteous I am for knowing the law and enforcing the law on other people. They do so only to avoid being persecuted for the cross of Christ. Okay, he's saying it's a different reason as well. They don't want to be persecuted for Christ. So there is a part, and I don't know if it's quite yet, where... Oh! Hey!
57 viewers.
We got a raid! Welcome in, Raiders! T-Rex, yeah, but you knew a guy headed up to handle emergency comms, because, oh, that's cool. Temple writing in larger letters at the end of a letter to emphasize a point can be seen in some letters in the ancient world. It's not a good reason to think he had bad eyesight or had to do with the thorn of side. Oh, I wasn't thinking that. Riker 5309, welcome in. Kit Beardstone, welcome in. I was blessed with a big raid to spread the love. Appreciate that, friend. Welcome in, everybody. That was a little thing we did for mental health awareness in May. I'm not an artist, as you can see. Just want to share love with other people. You didn't think that, but it's something you've come across quite a few times. I've not come across that. That's interesting. I was just thinking it was a skill level, but I had not come across there's Wywis, the albino plecostomus, who likes to knock things over and rearrange the furniture in the fish tanks, as it were. I hadn't come across that they used it for emphasis at the end of a letter. That's also interesting. So that would make sense, but this isn't the end of a letter. And since he's saying he's doing it to, this is my own hand, I took that to mean his skill level in writing didn't have him as big. So, anyway, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. If you're just lurking, thank you. Those of you who are coming in, what is it that you love about Kit Beardstone? Why are you hanging out over there? What do you love about Kit? Love to hear from you. So, I do have the fish back here behind me. I have the fish over here behind me. I have a few hats behind me as well. Yes, I am a pastor. I have worked in churches. Currently not working in a church. But that's because I'm between gigs, so to speak. And I stream Reading in the Bible Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So here is our ongoing schedule here. So we're a little behind. We're trying to finish up September and make it through Galatians 6 today. And maybe a little bit further. So, trying to think if there's anything else. And I see, yes, he has hair under there. Yeah, I do. But hats are cooler. Hats are cooler. My mods like making me take my hat off. They like that. They like to torture me. You enjoy, Biker says, I enjoy chatting with Kit and love his positive energy. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Great guy, that's for sure. All right. So trying to think, was there something else? Oh, I can mention this. We do a thing that we call pass the cap around here, not telling you that you need to do this, but making you aware of it. So we do a thing, we pass the cap because we've been blessed. We want to bless other people so that if you run into someone in Twitch who is looking for assistance, we pass the cap. Right now we are helping Mountain 101's friend who needs to help raise funeral expenses for his grandfather. So that's what we're raising funds for. Oh, what do I have next to each one? It's, let me show you. They're all little different. They're little different things. So these are little miniature pots, and it says Happy Easter on there. So that's just a little pot. So that is from Africa. This is a little miniature pitcher. That is from Hungary. Here is an egg that was carved. So that's a different country in Africa. I've got little animals. I've got other things. So they're just little things hidden between there. Oh, and somewhere over here are a couple of Legos as well. So I've just got little things hidden between stuff. And they're in no particular order. Kit, Romans from ReachCon is going to come volunteer in the Ren Fair booth this week. Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, all right. I can show you this real quick, too. There is a look at the bulk of my cams. So you can see there's a Guppy cam. There is a Koi cam back there. There's a cam on Lake Superior to watch sunrise, sunsets, and the lake. And I also have another channel where those go live over the weekend often. And then I do have an in-pond cam that I don't show on this channel, but I do show on the other channel. So there you go. You can check out my other channel if you'd like. It will probably be up later today and run over the weekend. All right. Let's get back to the text. We're reading in Galatians. And one of the biggest things that's going on here. Hey, Destro, good morning. Welcome in, friend. One of the things that we've got going on in Galatians is that there is a group who believes circumcision has to happen for the Christians who are coming to Christ. They need to be circumcised. So they need to become Jewish to become Christian. And they're arguing that way. And now some have been convinced that they need to do that. And Paul is telling him, no, you've been fooled. There's a person fooling you. Kit, I used to have a wildlife cam, but upkeep became a little nuts. At some point, it will re-emerge. Awesome. So that's the premise of what's going on here. Paul has been trying to make the case of what they do, what they don't do, what they need to do, how they should be doing things. So that's what we've got going on here. What's interesting, too, this is also one reason why I think that Galatians is written before Acts 15. If Galatians is written after Acts 15, I don't think Paul needs to persuade them otherwise. He could just say in this letter, and as the church in Jerusalem has declared, you don't have to be. So I think Paul is making this case prior to Acts 15, because I don't think it makes sense to write it after Acts 15. Paul could have just wrote and said, the church has settled this, stop it, knock it off. There we go. Timer is up, the hat, she is back. All right. So anyway, just an aside there. If you're coming in wondering about that, that's another thing that I think. All right, so picking up where we were at. So we're towards the end here. So it could be, I know I was saying the big letters, you were saying at the end. So maybe this whole section at the end that's after this is in the big letters. So that would follow the way that people write. Okay. For those who are circumcised, do not obey the law themselves, but they want you to be circumcised so they can boast about your flesh. So they're not actually obeying the law because nobody can obey the law. They just want to boast that they got you circumcised. That's it. They just want it. Okay. How does this apply today? I'm not picking on any particular denomination, but those who just want to get you dunked in the tank, and then they're not worried about so much what you do afterwards. They're just counting how many baptisms. They just count baptisms, and then you might never come back to the church again. They just count confessions of salvation, and then they go on and they don't see you again. So I'm not saying a church where you come and you're in relationship with them. I'm talking about you come and you do all these things and you never see the people again. They boast about how many conversions they have. They boast about how many baptisms they have. And I want to say how many lives have changed. How many marriages have been repaired. How many children have been restored in relationship to their those are the outcomes of a relationship with Jesus. Those are the outcomes of love. Those are the fruit. Not, I said something once, and frankly, I would guess that, and I don't know any numbers, but I would guess that there's a good number of people that, frankly, if you've been pestering me on a street corner or on a bus or somewhere else and I can't get rid of you, I'm going to say whatever you want me to say to get rid of you. So you want me to say, yes, I put my full faith and trust in Jesus Christ, or, oh, repeat after me this prayer and you'll go away. I'm going to do it. I don't know what that number is, but I guarantee there are people that will just say whatever you want to get you to go away because you're a nuisance and you're annoying. Okay? But if you're coming to them from love and the person is going, why are you so loving? You have something I don't have. Tell me what this thing is. They're going to be inclined to now change their life to pursue the thing that you have. Okay? So I'm not boasting about the number of circumcisions that I have. Oh, I mean the number of conversions that I have. I'm going to boast about, well, this person used to do this. They were really self-centered, and now they're serving in ministry over here. And they're helping fundraise. They're helping to organize. They contributed to people's lives in this way. You know, those are the things I want to measure. That's what my father-in-law did to me. Worked on me the first 5 years of our marriage trying to witness. And he finally just said the sinner's prayer to get me to leave him alone. Continues to live a sinful life. Yeah, that's what I mean. People will just say it. You know, there's another example, too. I was thinking the person on the street. But yeah, the family member that you pester, the friend that you pester, will finally just say it to get rid of you. Yeah. You love some Fig Newtons. Yeah, passing the cookies is awesome. Okay. But may I never boast except in the Christ of the Lord, in the cross of the Lord Jesus Christ, through which the world has been crucified to me, and I to the world. For neither circumcision nor uncircumcision counts for anything. I could say sinner's prayer or no sinner's prayer counts for nothing. The only thing that matters is a new creation. Yep. And all who will behave in accordance with the rule, peace and mercy be on them. And on the Israel of God. So, love the book of Galatians. It really reminds us that we cannot earn our salvation. Oh, yeah. From now on, let no one cause me trouble, for I bear the marks of Jesus in my body. The grace of the Lord Jesus Christ be with your spirit, brothers and sisters. Amen. So he wants it to be with your spirit. That's such an interesting thing there. All right, so we finished Galatians. Those who came in, you have finished Galatians with us. Congratulations, Galatians. I don't know why that keeps popping up all the time. It's so annoying. And if I switched it to another account, then it always says, oh, this account. I don't know why. It's like, it's stupid. All right, so I think, so we've got Ephesians we could go to, or we've got Nahum and Zephaniah that are only 3 chapters each, rather than Ephesians. I'd rather spend a little more time in Ephesians. And if we start Ephesians, we won't finish it today. So, let's take a peek at Nahum. Let's take a peek at Nahum. We might be able to finish Nahum. And I don't remember Nahum very well. So, it's one of those short books that I couldn't tell you what it's about. When I read it, I'll go, oh, yeah, that's Nahum. But it just doesn't stick in my mind. It's a short book. This is the oracle about Nineveh, the book of the vision of Nahum, the Elkoshite. The Elkoshite. Okay. So let's go. You know what? What did I put in my title? Let me look. Let me correct it. We'll put Nahum in there. Okay. So we need to know what Nahum means. Does Nahum mean nah, I'm not going to hum? Nay, on the humming, eh? Nah. See, there's the abbreviation. Nah. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. 1,000 points of light. Nahum.
Strong's H 5151. Nahum. Nahum.
Nahum. Okay. So, wow. It's only used here. There is no other use of the word Nahum, and it is only used here at the beginning. Wow, I did not remember that. And it means comfort. Hey, Puzzler Rabbit! I hope you're feeling splendid and energetic. Blessings upon you. Thank you, friend. You as well. I am. I absolutely am. Feeling great today. I say, I slept until 5 o'clock today. And you go, what? I don't know what's up with me. The last 2 weeks, I've been waking up at 3 and 4 in the morning, which is annoying. So, the oracle about Nineveh, the book of the vision of comfort. The book of the vision of comfort. The Lord is zealous and avenging God. The Lord is avenging and very angry. The Lord takes vengeance against his foes. He sustains his rage against the enemy. Oh, sorry. Yes, against the enemy. My brain thought I said machine for some reason. The Lord is slow to anger, but great in power. The Lord will certainly not allow the wicked to go unpunished. Okay, so we're going against Nineveh. We know Jonah went against Nineveh. But there God wanted to show mercy. Here, it's saying he will not allow the wicked to go unpunished. This is what I do not have. I've got this nice chart of the kings. I would love to have a nice chart of the prophets and when they happen. So that I could put those together with the right king, with the right time frame. That's what I want to do. Is rearrange my Bible reading of the prophets into the order of which they are written. I think that's what I want to do. All right. Good day to the moderators. Bless y'all. Exactly. Okay, so just like the prophets often have, there's accusations against people. Accusations. Oh, we shout out everybody, Puzzler. We shout out everybody. Okay. He marches out. So this should still be God. He marches out in the whirlwind and the raging storm. Dark clouds billow like dust under his feet. He shouts battle cries against the sea and makes it dry up. Okay. Just because the prophets use the language of creation and storms and you know what? I did not realize I had not shrunk this down after I was looking at the other. Let me put it back. Okay. Just because it's using the language of creation to do the work of God's hands in the dark storm, clouds billowing, does not give us the right to turn around and say every time that a natural disaster happens, it must be God's wrath being poured out on wicked people. Okay. A equals, or A causes B does not mean B causes A. Okay, we can't flip that, or B happened, then A was the cause. I mean, for instance, if you redeem spot of tea, I will drink tea. But you don't have to redeem spot of tea for me to drink tea. I'm just going to do it. So we can't say if, like the hurricane that just happened was God's judgment poured out on those people because they were evil people. No, you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. You can say that God was going to judge as a prophet, knowing a storm came, and God used that storm at a time that was specific to correct people. We don't get to look at it in hindsight and say, that's what it was. There we go. I knew someone would spot tea. You said it, I did it. Yeah. See, I could drink this all the time I want. So every storm can happen. There can be storms that God will use as judgment, but every storm isn't judgment. So I know that's an aside. That's not what's in the text. But since the storm just happened and we're reading a text that says, this is God marching out in a whirlwind and a raging storm, every raging storm isn't God marching out with judgment. He shouts a battle cry against the sea and makes it dry up. He makes all the rivers run dry. Bashan and Carmel wither. The blossom of Lebanon withers. The mountains tremble before him. The hills convulse. The earth is laid waste before him. This is an acrostic poem in chapter 1. Oh, wait, thank you for pointing it out. So we hopefully will be able to see that. Before him, the world and all its inhabitants are laid waste. No one can withstand his indignation. No one can resist his fierce anger. His wrath is poured out like volcanic fire. Boulders are broken up as he approaches. The Lord is good. Indeed, he is a fortress in time of distress, and he protects those who seek refuge in him. So even in a storm, you can seek refuge in God because God is good. But with an overwhelming flood, he will make a complete end of Nineveh. He will drive his enemies into darkness. Yeah, her place, alternate version, her adversaries. So we know it's Nineveh because it's already said it's Nineveh. Okay. Whatever you plot against the Lord, he will completely destroy. Distress will not arise a second time. Surely they will be totally consumed, like entangled thorn bushes, like the drink of drunkards, like very dry stubble. From you, O Nineveh, one has marched forth who plots evil against the Lord, a wicked military strategist. This is what the Lord says. Okay, so it's interesting we got that phrase. This is what the Lord says. Begins a typical prophetic introduction. Language is similar. Okay. So is this an emphasis or is this a new section? Okay, so here we have, this is statements that are coming from the prophet. Now we get to a section that says this is what the Lord says. So it doesn't have to be a new section. It could be an emphasis of the words of. I just heard something where there's a difference sometimes that the prophets use. I just listened to a podcast talking about this with someone who's really good with the Hebrew. Talking about that sometimes it's not, this is what the Lord says, or thus says the Lord. It's, this is like what the Lord says, or this is like, because the prophets sometimes get a vision and they hear things, but you can't put them into words. You can't describe them entirely for your audience. So you would say, this is like what the Lord says. This is like the vision, because you can't fully express what it was. I thought that's an interesting thing, but my Hebrew's not good enough to go and pick up when it's this says the Lord and the other, because there's a couple of different ways it's phrased. So I needed to get some more learning in that area. Okay. Even though they were powerful, and what is more, even though their army is numerous, nevertheless they will be destroyed and trickle away. Although I afflicted you, I will afflict you no more. And now I will break Assyria's yoke bar from your neck. I will tear apart the shackles that are on you. Who is the you? Okay, your shackles. Yeah, it's just telling me it's you. But is this for the north or the southern kingdom? That's what my brain is trying to figure out. The Lord has issued a decree against you. Your dynasty will come to an end. I will destroy the idols and images in the temples of your gods. I will desecrate your grave because you are accursed. Because you are despised. So everybody hates you. You're the bully on the block. You're oppressing people. And when you die, I'm going to desecrate your grave and ain't nobody going to care. I will make your grave is usually understood as a figure of speech. So I'm going to put you in the grave. Yeah, dude, exactly. And I'm not, you can figure out how you're going to desecrate it, you know? Desecrated, eviscerated, time perpetuated. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is where 2 starts in the Hebrew. Wade, do you know how does that work if this is an acrostic? Is this not in there or is it in there? That'd be interesting. Look, a herald is running on the mountains. A message is proclaiming deliverance. Celebrate your sacred festivals, O Judah. There we go. But since the festivals are celebrated there, maybe they're still Israel, but it says Judah. So now we should be thinking Southern Kingdom. Fulfill your sacred vows to praise God, for never again will wicked Assyria invade you. They will be completely destroyed. So Assyria's destruction is being proclaimed here. So that would lead me to believe Jonah happened already. Jonah happened, they repented, they've returned to their evil ways. And we know Sennacherib came against them. I'm trying to think of which king it was. Is it Josiah or Hezekiah? No, I don't remember. Don't remember. An enemy will scatter you, Nineveh has advanced against you. An enemy who will scatter you. Okay. Nineveh does not appear in the text, but has been added for clarification. Yes. Guard the rampart, watch the road, prepare yourself for battle, muster your mighty strength. For the Lord is about to restore the majesty of Jacob as well as the majesty of Israel, though the enemies have plundered them and have destroyed their fields. Okay, again, notice how this is set off in poetry language. I should have mentioned that earlier when I was talking about storms. Storm language, or sorry, poetry language using storms as the symbol of what God is doing. Here we have armies coming in poetic language too. So we're going to have total victory language. So we don't have to look for literal nature of these things happening. Supersonic Mockingjay, welcome in, friend. Cat Jam. The shields of his warriors are dyed red. That's going to be, I believe, from his blood. Psychological warfare. Warriors often wore uniforms colored blood red to strike fear in the hearts. I did not know that. Redden, Adam Red, LXX text, confusing the roots of for man and for red. Okay. The shields of his warriors are dyed red. The mighty soldiers are dressed in scarlet garments. The chariots are in flashing metal fittings on the day of battle. So they're menacing. The soldiers brandish their spears. The chariots race madly through the streets. They rush back and forth in the broad plazas. They look like lightning bolts. They dash here and there like flashes of lightning. Another no cap. Another no cap. There you go. There you go. What I should do is for double the points, undo the no cap. We could have a cap war here. What is the 50K sticker? 50K. I don't know where you're seeing a 50K. Do you mean right there? The KC? That's the KC Underground? Is that the one you're seeing? What battle? How do I get involved in this random battles? Yeah, clarify that. I don't know which one you're talking about. If that's not it, I can hold this up and you can 50K redemption. Oh, you're on the redemption. What does it say? I don't even remember what I have. Oh, okay. I'll send you a sticker. That's what it is. I don't have any currently, but I will send you stickers. If you redeem the 50K, you'll have to DM me. Sorry, you said sticker, and I thought you were talking a sticker on here. Do I even have my own stickers? I don't even know if I have. I gave away my stickers. I don't even have my own stickers. I need to order more. So I've got two different flat cap stickers. So they're the two on the far left and far right at the top of the screen there. So those are my two stickers. The far top right and the far top left are my two stickers. So that's what the redeem 50K would be. Sorry. I don't know why my brain didn't realize that's what you were asking. Yes, the channel points. Yeah, sorry, just some guy. I was not making the connection. Thanks for the help there. I just done spot of tea, so my brain was thinking sticker on my mug. Imagine the psychological warfare of threatening a nation's water supply with a fast-spreading virus from a nation known as an advanced in medical military science. Before it became biological, the fear of anxiety would cast a shadow over many. Yeah, absolutely, I'm watching. Psychological warfare, well, for instance, you probably heard the smallpox blanket thing. there's no evidence that that actually worked, that that actually spread smallpox. Or even before that, you might use a catapult to hurl dead animals that would have disease, dead animals that were rotting in decay into a city. It was just as much psychological warfare as actual going to do harm to people. So, yeah. Okay. The commander orders his officers. They stumble as they advance. They rush to the city wall and they set up the covered siege tower. Oh, you know what? This is reminding me of when Sennacherib does come. I think it is Josiah. Yeah, I think it is Josiah. He comes against Josiah, and he's speaking in the language that the people understand, and his officials are out there like, hey, knock it off. Don't speak in their language. Speak in our language. Speak in your language so they can't hear. They're out there intentionally saying all these things of, don't believe the king. The king is lying to you. Nobody else has ever stopped our king. Our king will destroy your king. You're all going to die. You can surrender now. Don't listen to your king. So yeah, that was psychological of speaking in the language that of those who are coming against you, as opposed to, yeah, there are a bunch of kooks out there. I can't understand what they're saying. We'll destroy them. Nineveh is taken into exile and led away. Her slave girls moan like doves while they beat their breasts. That's a weird translation. Her maidens are led away into exile. Okay, they're going to go into that. Like the sound of a dove. Okay, guess there's nothing there. Timer's up. Ba-da-ba-bum. Nineveh was like a pool of water throughout her day, but now her people are running away. She cries out, "Stop, stop!" But no one turns back. Her conquerors cry out, "Plunder the silver! Plunder the gold!" There is no end to treasure, riches of every kind of precious thing. Destruction, devastation, desolation. Hearts faint, knees tremble, every stomach churns, all their faces turn pale. Sorry, I'm gonna grab a cough drop. Sometimes even the spot of tea, I still get a little scratchy in the throat. And it's been that way this week. So, all right. So, describing how this is gonna look, they're gonna run. They're gonna be scared. Oh, it's gonna be a good time. Where now is the den of lions and the feeding place of young lions, where the lion, lionesses, and lion cubs once prowled, and no one disturbed them. So they're describing the dangers of them. The lion tore apart as much prey as his cubs needed and strangled prey for his lioness. He filled his lairs with prey and his dens with torn flesh. Okay. Even though the reality is that it's the lionesses who do the hunting, the bulk of the hunting, it is the ferociousness of the lion that is symbolized here, regardless of who does the actual hunting. When there is a predator, it is the male who takes care of the predators. So it's just sticking with that language here of that idea there. We don't have to think of, oh, they didn't understand biology and then it was the lionesses and they're stripping the lionesses of. No. It's not looking at it that way. I am against you, declares the Lord of heaven's armies. I will burn your chariots with fire. The sword will devour your young lions. You will no longer prey upon the land. The voice of your messengers will no longer be heard. So, this is the description of Nineveh. Like, you're a bunch of wild lions that devour everything. And thus, we don't want any part of that. I'm going to destroy you, God says. God's going to come against them. So, we know Nineveh, and we know Jonah goes there. But later on, before destruction comes, God gives them another warning. God gives them another warning. Now, I don't think they repent here at this time. There's no clue or no cue that they do. So, we got an ad break in about a minute, so I'll just get started into the next one, and then we will break. Woe to the city guilty of bloodshed. She is full of lies. She is filled with plunder. She has hoarded her spoil. All right, what do we have in the footnotes? Come on. Guilty of bloods. The plural noun bloods connotes bloodshed or blood guilt. Human blood is, in its natural state in the body, is generally designated as singular form. After it is spilled, the plural form is used to denote abundance of blood in quantity. Oh, that is fascinating. So it's plural blood, which means it came out of the body. Singular blood, it's in the body. Woo! The term referred to the blood that was shed in war and unnecessary. Hey! Alumalab, thanks for the follow. The key term may refer to blood that was shed in war and unnecessary shedding of blood of one's enemy, which is probably intended meaning the phrase city of bloodshed. So they kill them off. All right. So we got ads coming. So if you're not new around here, we go and we check out the fish when the ads come. So let me just see what the sunrise looks like here. There it is, hiding behind the trees. In the summer, it's over the lake. It's working its way further and further south there. So we'll just pan through these so you can see the lake there. Hear the waves a little bit there. We had a nice orange glow this morning. That's at my mom's house. This is the guppies over my left shoulder. I need to get a new light. My old light got moved to another tank. So, and then it froze. It's having a Wi-Fi issue today. Here are the baby koi. And they came from the pond outside.
See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flat caps charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home.
You're back. I'm watching. Yeah, I heard that Susie Live is going to be streaming with Assassinator Steph, and Assassinator Steph has been hit with by the hurricane, and so if that is what's going on, I definitely want to go check that out and support. So. I do have another channel that will be up later today over the weekend. I usually put it up where I've got these cams all up, and I have also an underwater cam. Let me shut the mic off here before we come back. Otherwise, you'll still keep hearing it. So. All right, yeah, I believe Assassinator Steph, I was told, is going to be streaming with Susie Live. I don't know how all that's working, but we're going to go. That's supposed to be at 10. So we finish this. We will check that out and see what's going on over there. Because I definitely want to support her And there's a whole group of people that are working to help replace and get her up and streaming again, because she is a mom of 3 and streaming is how she supports herself. So, all right. So this is a city of bloodshed. It's filled with lies. It plunders others, and it's hoarding. Okay, so this is not loving your neighbor. We were just thinking of Galatians, because it's hoarding. It's filled with plunder. Well, you had to do something to get the plunder. It's filled with lies. Again, not loving. Bloodshed, not loving. Like, okay, like let's check the box. Not loving. Got it. The chariot drivers will crack their whips. The chariot wheels will shake the ground. The chariot horses will gallop. The war chariots will bolt forward. Hey, Crusader for him, just checking in. Thank you. I'm watching. I've been anemic since the turn of the century. Nothing helps permanently. But thank you. Glad that you are blessed. Well, in my basement here, if you saw earlier this year, I did a construction stream where I tried to put some insulation under my floor. The problem has been that insulation had too much flex in it, and it's not worked either. So I will be replacing that because my basement's too cold for my feet. Like the bottom 2 feet are cold. From there up, it's warm, but that's because of a cement slab. So yeah, you would not do well in my basement. I do have a heater below my desk though, panel one, so it's not going to burn anything. All right, so I'm just looking here at Nahum 3. Looks like there's a parallelism with Nahum 1 of the description of the destruction that's going on. So we might have, we're told we had an acrostic poem in chapter 1. So if you don't know an acrostic, it means you start with A, then you go to B, then you go to C, and yeah, exactly, Shiver's imagining. Each verse is the next letter of the alphabet. Oh, yeah, small carpet help. It could if I put a rug down. The problem being chair's not going to roll on it real well. But anyway, I've got something else that I'm going to try to do. So I'm just saying, if you were here earlier this year and saw the construction stream, I'm going to be doing another one. I don't know if I will, or I should say, I'm doing construction again. I don't know if I'll stream it this time. Yeah, I do have throw rugs I could have put down, but the chair will not roll on them well. So as we're getting to the cold part of the year, I'm going to try to fix it again. Fix it right this time. I didn't want to spend enough money to fix it. I thought I had a cheaper way. It did not work. Okay, the charioteers will charge ahead. The swords will flash. The spears will glimmer. So this is like this we had earlier. The swords were shining. We had shiny things. Now we got glimmering things. There will be many people slain. There will be piles of dead and countless casualties. So many that people will stumble over corpses. Because you have acted like a wanton prostitute and a seductive mistress who practices sorcery, who enslaves nations by her harlotry, and entices people by her sorcery. Okay, these are all descriptive things of your dealing with gods who aren't God. So lesser Elohim. The lesser Elohim, who, if you look at the book of Enoch, we're supposed to be protectors of and point to God. Instead, they become worshipped. They entice you towards them. You use elements of sorcery to learn from them. And then you prostitute and harlot yourself to get other people to do what you're doing. That's the imagery there. It doesn't have to actually mean actual prostitution. It's about the other gods. I'm watching. I wonder if plug-in sockets are a thing off to consult anti-Google. Oh, plug-in socks. I know there's battery-powered socks. There are battery-powered socks I'm watching. Omega. Oh, maybe the idea like Kotatsu. I know the Big Lots has those electric blankets, so you could probably install that to keep your legs and feet warm. Oh, well, here, I'll show you what I have. It's a panel. And so you can set it up and turn it on, and it has a safety feature. If it falls flat, it turns off. So it has to be vertical in order to turn on. Yeah, the battery life is sad on most of them. Yeah. So this is a really nice paddle. It's just like a flat panel. You can, well, it's 5 panels wide. So you have 3 and then 2 on the side. Yeah, it's really nice. It's at that point of year that I've had it turned on already earlier this week. So if I was going past 10 o'clock to 11, I would be turning it on. My legs are starting to get cold, but I haven't turned it on yet. Okay, back to our text. I am against you, declares the Lord of Heaven's armies. I will strip off your clothes. I will show your nakedness to the nations and your shame to the kingdoms. Okay, so nakedness is synonymous with being put to shame. Nakedness is also helpless. Nakedness is not a good condition to be in. So I'm going to show your nakedness. You're going to be exposed. That's another good way to think of it. I'm going to expose you to everyone else. I will pelt you with filth. Oh, come on. What is that? Detestable things, abominable filth, filthy garbage. Okay. I was wondering if that should have been translated as dung, but it looks like the Hebrew is detestable things, which could include dung. I will treat you with contempt. I will make you a public spectacle. Everyone who sees you will turn away from you in disgust. They will say, Nineveh has been devastated. What? Who will lament for her? There will be no one to comfort her. You are no more secure than Thebes. Then Noam. Noaman. The name is transliterated by NASB. Many English versions, the equivalent Thebes. Okay, so it is a city name. They put the modern one in there instead of the Hebrew Noaman, so you know where it is. Okay. She was located on the banks of the Nile. The water surrounded her. Her rampart was the sea. The water was her wall. Cush and Egypt had limitless strength. Put and the Libyans were among her allies. Yet, she went into captivity as an exile. Even her infants were smashed to pieces at the head of every street. Okay, here's another example of the head of every street. Where does it start? The head of the river is where it starts. When we see head in in the Gospels, we should be thinking about source rather than hierarchy. Hierarchy is a modern idea about the head of something is the one in charge of it. No, the head of something is the source of it. So when you see the head of something, it is the source from which it flows. That's how a river happens. So if it's smashed into pieces in the head of every street, the place where the street starts. They cast lots for her nobility. All her dignitaries were bound with chains. You too will act like drunkards. You will go into hiding. You too will seek refuge from your enemies. Again, I can't help it when I get into destructive language and woes. I just want to be the game show hostess voice, or the game show host voice. Not only are they going to cast lots for her nobility, not only that, but you also get all her dignitaries bound with chains. Not only that, you will also act like drunkards, and what's more, you will go into hiding, and in addition to that, you will take refuge from your enemies. All of this can be yours, Nineveh, if you don't obey God. Yes, those who are new here, I often do go into weird readings of scripture, emphasizing things and making them fun. All your fortifications will be like fig trees with first ripe fruits. If, if they are shaken, their figs will fall into the mouth of the eater. Your warriors will be like women in their midst. The gates of their land will be wide open to your enemies. Fire will consume the bars of your gates. I'm sorry you've had to deal with that. I can't imagine. Oh, you're back to the other conversation. Tell them what they win, Chuck. Total annihilation. Draw yourselves water for a siege. Strengthen your fortification. Like, I also want to do it as a taunting voice. Like, go ahead, try this. Draw yourself water for a siege. Strengthen your fortifications. Trample the mud and tread the clay. Make mud bricks to strengthen your walls. There the fire will consume you. The sword will cut you down. It will devour you like the young locust would. Multiply yourselves like the young locust. Multiply yourselves like the flying locust. I just heard that I guess there's like 800 different species of locusts that that the Middle East, like the ancient people identified. I don't know if they're truly different species from a modern standpoint, but 800 different kinds of locusts. Yeah, but I adjust. I keep your throw slug over the back of your power chair. Sleep in day clothes and drink hot liquids. Yes. Yes, drink the hot liquids. Increase your merchants more than the stars of the heavens. They are like the young locust and shed its skin and flies away. Your couriers are like locusts. Your officials are like a swarm of locusts. Can I say locusts another 20 times? I bet I can. They encamp in the walls on the cold day, yet when the sun arises, they, the locusts, fly away, and no one knows where they, the locusts, are. This is an interesting thing. Like, this is how they would think. Like, the locusts just show up, and then they disappear. Where did they come from? Where did they go? Nobody knows it, Cotton Eye Joe. Alumalab. The way you read that reminded me of Bob the Tomato from VeggieTales. Oh, I had not thought about that. Yes. That's a lot of crop destruction. Totes. Your shepherds are sleeping. Okay, shepherds, it doesn't always mean shepherds. You were just thinking CEJ? Don't know CEJ. Shepherds are your kings, those in charge, those who oversee. So shepherd and king can be synonymous. So your shepherds, the ones who are your guardians, the protectors of you, are sleeping. This is the accusation of the gods, too, at times. Your God is asleep, he can't act. Oh, Cotton Eye Joe. Yeah, you were just thinking. Okay. I've never seen it abbreviated that way. My brain didn't connect it. Duh. King of Assyria, your officials are slumbering. It's a slumber party. Your people are scattered like sheep on the mountains. There is no one to regard them. Your destruction is like an incurable wound. Your demise is like a fatal injury. All who hear what happens to you will clap their hands for joy, for no one ever escaped your endless cruelty. Oh, that's the end. That's it. Ba-da-ba. That's it. Your destruction is like an incurable wound. Your demise is like a fatal injury, and all who hear what happened to you will clap their hands for joy, for no one ever escaped your endless cruelty. Mic drop. Nahum out. Oh, wow. Further back than I thought. I just wanted to go back to how it started. Okay, the Lord is zealous and avenging God. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. That's how it started. All right, there we go. Nahum dun da da done. All right, we got Galatians done. We got Nahum done. That means Monday is Ephesians. Monday is Ephesians. Woo! If we can do all of Ephesians on Monday, that would be a task. Don't know that that's going to happen. But looking ahead, then we'll do Zephaniah. Then we'll jump into Philippians. So I'm guessing either Ephesians and Zephaniah on Tuesday. But Ephesians for sure we will start on Monday. Can't imagine 6 chapters of Ephesians in one day. If we go 3 and 3, we could probably still fit Zephaniah in there. Or if we do 4 and 3. But we'll see. We'll see. I definitely want to run part of Ephesians 4 into 5. The chapter break there is really, 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 really awful. Because at the end of 4, it says that we need to submit ourselves to one another. And then the next thing is wives submit themselves to their husbands, and we just go, oh, okay, wives have to do this. Forgetting that the immediate thing that preceded it was everyone to one another. So we're not asking wives to do something that I don't do to others.
Blue Winter just followed.
Hey, Blue Winter! Thank you for the follow, friend. So yes, Ephesians will be our Monday endeavor. And we'll see how long that takes. Hosea and James. Well, it'll be a little ways. Okay, let's go see if they're up yet and streaming. So I've been told that wow, I got a lot of people that I know that are on. I do not see Susie. Do not see Susie. It's now Pastor Susie. Don't see it. Unless that's tonight at 10. Hey, Pasio, thanks for the lurk. You love Ephesians? Well, it'll be Monday. Let me check my Discord, because if that's happening, there's probably a note in my Discord in regards to that. Okay, don't see it there. Okay, not sure. Not sure. Maybe just not up yet. Yes, that's the armor of God. Yes, putting on the armor of God, I believe, is in there. Want to say in 6, Ephesians 6, because the beginning of 6 is. So anyway, in Ephesians we're doing household codes. We're doing household codes, and you remember now from the song? Okay. Oh, I don't believe I know the song. Okay. Okay, let me go over here. Okay, let me go over here. What do I want? Oh, that's what I want. Sorry, you know what? You heard it in One Reason stream. Okay. I'm gonna give you the pond while I'm trying to go see if I can find who is streaming.
Flat cap past the rocks is tweet.
because I heard that it was supposed to happen at 10, but maybe the person that informed me it's 10 p.m., not 10 a.m. So,
Dapper man with sax in hand plays tunes
I
by
do
his
not
quiet
see
land.
them up.
Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish,
Okay.
they swim along to the rhythm of his song.
Lots of locusts.
Flat cat pasture
It says
shows
10
the way.
a.m. I think he's just right. Okay, I'm willing to hang out. I'm willing to hang out. Where's that posted, Illuminlab? I did not see that
With
posted. I
his
missed
cam,
that.
he shows
I mean,
it
that
all.
chat been blowing up. So if it's supposed to be 10, maybe he's trying to get her
Life
in, and that's some
pond
difficulty. So
serene,
I'm willing to wait,
nature's
hang out.
beauty on a screen. See the ripple
But if it's 10 p.m., then because I didn't see the actual post, I must have missed it. Unless that's in his channel. You saw it on Instagram. See, I haven't been on there today. Okay, that'd be why. Yeah, because I'm here. I'm not checking that stuff out until I get done. Okay. Well, let me just go to his channel.
Stream it live, come what may.
Then when it goes live, we'll be ready. All right. Fish look kind of nice today. They're looking like they're having a good time.
Big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on a
Anyone got
screen.
plans for this weekend like mine? Here, I'll do this. I don't know. Oh, can I do it? I can do this. I can do this. Where is it at? Come on. Where'd you go? Where did you come from? Where did you go? You're doing a subathon. When is that? Oh, I'm opening the wrong thing. When is your subathon? Tomorrow. Eid al-Adha. Is this a Jewish festival? Where are you seeing the Eid al-Adha? Anyway, I was gonna... Okay. So you can see the wall back here. And the closet back there. On the other side of that wall is the storage just back of the basement, and had a few flooding issues. So in fixing that, I'm going to tear out this wall, move the wall 4 feet back, extend this room so that I've got more space in here. So this fish tank will be able to be against the wall, and then I'll have another fish tank against the back wall is somewhat what I'm thinking is a possibility that I might do. So anyway, that's some of what I... Oh, and you know what? I can move the bookcase here back over there, I think, and move some things around. Oh, you saw it on the squared puzzle piece list. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Eid al-Adha. I don't know. So I'm still not seeing him live. Like I said, we can wait another 5-10 minutes and see if it works. If it... Oh, there it is. Now I see him. Why is it not showing? It says there's 10 people there, but it's not showing me on the screen. Whatever. Let me get the raid going. Maybe he's just got a... I'm going to turn the sound on a second. Okay, why is it not showing me? Okay, weird. Why will you not mute? There we go. I'm going to go off his channel and go back to his channel. There we go. Now I see it. Starting soon. So he's not started yet. So we'll hold off. We'll hold off until it's actually started. There we go. I'm just going to swipe his music for a second. You can listen to that. Oh, this one, it's not on the right screen. I can't show you. So no worries. No need to do that. You looked it up as Muslim. Oh, okay. Okay. So it would have some Arabic, which would have some connection to Aramaic, potentially, which would then... Okay, so that would... Gotcha. Gotcha. So, thank you. Appreciate y'all just hanging out, waiting. I'm going to just go ahead and mute this and not leave it, and I'm going to zoom back in. But anyway, that's part of what I'm going to do. I just got to move all of this stuff out of here when I get that. So the wall will happen first, then I got to move everything out, then I got to do the floor in here, which I have done before. I got to do it again. So this room has had problems, so that's one reason. So you know what? I can show you this. This will be silly, but whatever. Thought I had it looked up. Oh, is it on here? Yeah, it's over here. So just in case you have a basement floor and you have problems in your basement floor. This is a subfloor material that has wood on the top, has plastic on the bottom. Let's view all images here so I can show you that. So you got the wood square on the top, and then it's got this plastic on the bottom. So this goes to the ground, and then you have this channel for all over the place for water to flow through, so that the water will not, cause problems in your basement. So behind here, the wall leaks at times. It's not very much, but when there's problems, there's problems. So I want to try to fix that once and for all. I've had a few problems. Don't know why I continue to have problems. That's what my plan is to put this down below me. Plus, you can get insulation. There's another option. Let me find it a minute. Oops. Okay. There's a different option, same company. That's probably boring. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if this is boring. I just want to wait to make sure that he's live, and then we'll raid. And then we'll raid. So he's got the starting soon. So this one has more insulation in the bottom of it. So you can see that's more of a foam, and then it's got channels to have it flow through, but it works the same way. Works the same way. So I guess I got to decide between these two, which one I want to do. So this is like $1 more than the other one. So that's what I'm deciding with. Get that ordered, have those, and go from there. So anyway, that's what I got to figure out, what I want to do, how much I don't have that I need to spend to fix my problem and make my basement warm. And whatever I do, well, actually, you know what? I don't have to do the same throughout. They should be the same height. Right, the 0.75 should say 0.75. Oh no, this is 1 inch. This is taller. It's 1 inch. Okay. I can't switch between the two. So let me see, is it actual dimensions? How thick is the OBS? It shows 1 inch thickness. Yeah, it's 1530 seconds. Okay. Then it has the other. Anyway, that's part of what I'm looking at. Let me just go ahead and give the blessing. I see people are showing up over there with Pastor Susie. Come on, let's go. Let's go, Pastor Susie. Let's get this thing going. I'm trying to find an emote to share over there. Yeah, you're blessed. Oh, yeah. Thinking of water leakage in basement makes me think of water bugs instantly. Shutters. Oh, water bugs. I was reading an emote wrong. That was funny. There we go. All right, I guess we could have done one more passage if we wanted to. You know what? Let's do a bunch of stars. They lack damp spaces and humid ones. I only thought that they would have wanted to be in standing water. So, you know what? We had this earlier. Let's go ahead and do Bible trivia while we wait.
Question 2.
Let me know if that's too loud.
In the time of Noah, what object did God put in the sky as a reminder that he wouldn't flood the earth again? Was that a cloud, a rainbow, a shooting star, or a pillar of smoke? The answer was B, a rainbow.
Yep, go ahead and just
Question
yourself
3.
answer or
How
type
many
your answer in the
plagues
chat.
did God send to the Egyptians? Was it 5, 7, 8, or 10? God sent 10 plagues. Question 4. Who was thrown into a den of lions by King Darius? Was that Daniel, David, Moses, or Abraham?
I like the song. We've got some news, good King Darius. The size of your nose is hilarious.
That was Daniel.
Oh, sorry. That's not how the song goes.
Question 5. Who was saved by being put into a basket as a baby and placed in the reeds in the River Nile? Was that Moses, Noah, Samuel, or Solomon?
Or whose mother thought that their kid was a basket case?
The answer was A, Moses. Question 6. Who baptized Jesus? Was that Peter, John the Baptist, Andrew, or no one? He wasn't baptized.
That's a weird last answer. It's a weird last answer, just saying.
The answer is B, John the Baptist. Question 7. How many men did Jesus feed with just 5 loaves and 2 fish? Was it 100, 500, 3,000, or 5,000?
Okay, they should have done.
That was
They
5,000.
should have put 4,000 because in John there is a feeding of 4,000. It isn't
Question
5 loaves
8.
and 2 fish though.
Which disciple betrayed Jesus with a kiss? Was that John, Philip, Judas Iscariot, or Thomas?
This would be more fun is, how was Jesus betrayed? With a fist bump? With a hug?
The answer was C,
With a
Judas
kiss?
Iscariot.
Could have had some more fun with how was Jesus betrayed? With a knife in his back?
Question 9. How many gospel accounts are there? Are there 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Papstio, your question, did John get his title before baptizing Jesus because of
The
all the
answer
other
is
people he
D,
baptized?
4.
Or because he baptized Jesus?
Question 10. In the parable of the prodigal son,
I'm going to
how
pause
many
it,
sons?
so I'm not talking over it. It's not actually a title. The problem is English has translated it so that it sounds like a title. So it's really just John was baptizing in the Jordan River, is what he was doing. So then we've labeled him as John the Baptist. It should be John the Baptizer, but we put it in the past tense because he's no longer alive. Then we have a group of people who call themselves Baptist. So then, yes, he was the Dipper. He's the Big Dipper. Yeah, we go. That's right, the Baptizer. Yes. So it's not a title as much, but in regards to it, it's not because he did Jesus. It's because he was baptizing in the Jordan and people were coming to him to be baptized. But he does things contrary to the way that baptism was being done, in some other ways too, as far as the Jewish way that they did things. I'm trying to remember totally. In the part of remissions for sin is a challenge to things as opposed to some other significant. So yeah, great question though. Great question though. And there has been more of, like, historically in English, he's been called John the Baptist because he baptized. But yeah, baptized was known as dip or to dip. Yes, that is one way to translate it. I like that, dip, because when it's the exact same word when Jesus says, "The one who dips his bread with me will be the one who betrays me." It's the word baptizo. So he says, "The one who baptizes his bread." Well, that's just dipping. That's like you ever eat chips and dip? You baptize them. You dip them. You immerse them. You don't put your fingers in the dip when you do that. So it does not mean, you don't hear people argue, baptize means immerse. It also means dip. It also means dip, because I'm not putting my fingers in the dip. When I get in there, I'm not putting my fingers in the dip. I'm only putting the thing in my hand that I'm using to do it. So, Lady Palace, how are you doing? How do you know if a person is truly a follower or they just say that they are a follower? I would look at what they do, how they treat people. That is how I would judge them based on their actions. So, for instance, when I lived in Texas, they had their own separate Christian. He's up. Christian white pages directory, so that you could go to it and look and make sure you went to a Christian business. The problem was a lot of people wanted their name in there. They wanted the title Christian. They did not treat people fairly. They exploited people. They took advantage of them. I would say you weren't a Christian. You weren't a follower of Jesus because you weren't living it out. Counting coins and we are to judge the fruits. Yes. Can we see the answer to the trivia question? Sure.
Sons did the father have? Was that 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Then I'll make sure I get caught up on chat, and then we're ready now.
The answer was B.
The fruit, like what their life is, not truth. Fruit. Might have mispronounced that. So, like, if you see an apple tree, what's on the tree is apples. Okay, if you see a Christian, what you should see in someone's life is the fruit of the Spirit, which we were looking at earlier. So you should see love, joy, patience, peace, kindness, gentleness. I can't remember the others, and self-control. I can never get them all. Those should be the characteristics of it. People should be loving their neighbor as themselves. It's not to say people aren't claiming to, that they aren't trying to, but they aren't actually living that way. So then they might be on the spectrum of learning how to love. They don't have a lot of fruit yet. But if they have no fruit whatsoever, they are not loving their neighbor in any way, any capacity, then I don't believe that they really, truly are Christian. So what they do is how you check that out. Am I not following? That's so weird. It says I'm following. Why will it not let me raid? There we go. There we go. All right. So let me get a blessing on everybody, and then we will get the raid going. May God's seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for being in the stream. And thank you for the raid and all the follows. You guys are fantastic. Let's go over. Let's bless others. Let's go.
Dashing through pages, Chronicles, Gospels, Prophets, Sages, Leviticus, laws to Paul's fine phrases, turning them corners, no spiritual mazes, Genesis to Revelation, self-divine, flipping scripts, endless grace you'll find, Psalm singing sweet unbroken lines, hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed.
Uh-oh.
Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Wake up early, the dawn's light
having
shimmers.
some issues
Spiritual
over there.
soul food
Looks like
dinners.
they're fixed.
Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound.
Back, refresh.
Verse after
Okay, I'm gonna let it go
verse,
here a
wisdom
second.
found.
Ads, boo.
Heavenly soundtrack,
I'm reading the
soul
chat over
service.
there.
Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learn and perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops, deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birthed a cross on the hill. Unfolding the blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flipped, every verse fulfilled. From Eden's garden to Jerusalem's thrill. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed.
This might go back up later before we're
Dawn's
happy. We
light
keep
shimmers,
the internet. We
spiritual
can't,
breakfast,
we can't.
soul food
Thank you,
dinners.
love you.
Isaiah's
Hello,
vision,
appreciate it.
Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one
You guys are
limbers.
amazing.
Kings and
Black
judges,
Cat,
prophets
good morning.
profound.
How was the
Fly
good
with the
old
word,
scrum?
no mythical
Good to
ground.
have you stopping
Verse
by.
after verse,
Welcome, friends. Y'all
verse
coming in a
down.
very, very,
Heavenly
very special
soundtrack,
moment.
soul
And we literally
service
just
sound.
started. We literally just started. So I will literally have to go ahead.
I'm blessed. No shortcuts, all divine routes.
Guys, South Squad Church just hosted me. I am so honored.
Listen to the whispers,